as your set of new graduates for fashion styling. We welcome everybody here today, alongside with Mr. Greg, our program coordinator. We've got Miss Nadine Jasmine. She's the founder of O Sebenar and Sebenar Studios, as well as Miss Anissa Farid, who is a designer. She's also the product lead for Duck Ready to Wear. So we've got also Amanda as well as our students. So without further ado, I'm also their lecturer. So I'm just here to say hello to everybody and just prepare myself to let my students go. And it's a different kind of view today we have for graduation showcase, and I can assure you that everybody has prepared themselves for this day. So to not waste any time, let's present student number 1, Miss Desha.
Hi everyone. Hold on, let me share my screen. Can everyone see? Okay. So good afternoon to all the honorable judges, Mr. Greg, Miss Anissa, and Miss Nadine. My name is Desha Chia, and I'm 19 this year, currently a third-year student in Raffles. Thank you everyone for joining the call. Today I'm here to present my final fashion styling project. To start, fashion is one of the most affected industry due to the pandemic. For example, fashion shows and photo shoots has been halted and many retail stores were also closed due to the pandemic restrictions. But all the fashion enthusiasts are all expanding into the virtual world now. I want to share that being a stylist isn't that easy like I watch in the movies or what I thought it would be. There's much more plannings and to do behind the scenes. Throughout my fashion styling course, I have learned, experienced, and had the opportunity to work with a few different brands, which is very interesting as I get to try out new styles that I have never done before. For this project, we as students are required to create a visual artifacts based on any creative concept. The idea was like up to us. We had the choice to work with a present client and create a styling advert or editorial for them, or we can come up with a personal concept that we want without a client. These restrictions placed on the fashion houses are limiting all artists' imagination and what they wish to produce. Like for our previous assignments, I've struggled to find a clear direction towards my concept and also finding it difficult to photoshoot at home with limited space, resources, and without the help of anyone. As many concepts are deemed impossible due to the restrictions and social distancing, my concept in this project is about redefining fashion in a time of the pandemic. Christian Dior has set several TikTok trends which inspires me to do this ad campaign. In this project, I have styled, modeled, and photographed myself and created an ad campaign for Christian Dior. It is called If You Adore Her, Dior Her, giving a new perspective for the traditional fashion editorial by restoring the concepts of portraiture and pose. This campaign focus is clearly on the clothes and the woman who wears them. It explores the idea that what is ladylike may also be daring, timeless, and timeless can also be modern. In this project, you can see that it is not about crazy locations or poses. Here are some of the photographs I took portraying a strong, fun, and daring woman. You can be colored or a trans woman with different backgrounds but driven by the same desire. As a woman, it is very important to step forward with your head held high in today's society since it's a form of activism and of itself. Dior inspires me as a woman to shine. featuring Christian Dior style with tulle gowns and smart blazers alongside with some gold hardware accessories. Also using Dior dewy and light smoky makeup look to spice some things up. I feel like social distancing does not mean we should stop creating. We are very fortunate that we live in an era when we all have the necessary resources to create something new. Lastly, I want to introduce my client, my chosen client, which is Christian Dior. The House of Dior has been affiliated with exclusivity, elegance, and richness for more than 7 decades. Hundreds of Dior best-known looks, including bejeweled and embroidered creation that has crossed the line between fashion and art. It was one of the brands that has revitalized Paris as a center of fashion and also revolutionized the fashion industry with its Dior's new look back in 1947. Dior's signature look featuring blazer jackets, glorious skirts, tiny waists, and female figures. The brand Christian Dior itself also offers high-quality luxury handbags, makeups, perfumes, other than meticulously crafted garments and couture wear. This is the very end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Daisha. Also to the honorable judges, thank you for Daisha for mentioning a brief of what they're about to do. My apologies for not mentioning it much earlier, but the students are meant to do a visual artifact based on a client of their choice or a concept of their choice, and it should be interesting to see how it pans out today. So thank you again, Daisha, for mentioning that much earlier. We will move on to the feedback session, so we can start with Miss Nadine.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Hi guys. Hi Disha, right?
Yeah.
Hi, right. So how do you feel right now? Are you nervous?
I feel much better that I presented it.
Okay. I have before I get to any comments, like what is your I know Dior is the main inspiration, but what influenced you to even choose Dior as a client?
Personally, I just love the brand itself. And it's like I think how Christian Dior has like a rich background and like interesting history. And then it's very interesting to see how the brand has also evolved itself, the designs, how they bring like the old designs and made it new and modern.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. I like the idea of you navigating yourself during the pandemic and having the shoots at home. For the presentation just now, I feel that it's strong, and I think with the blazer and whatnot, it really represents. It's very clear. But I just have one comment. So in this, there's a picture where you wore like a white pants, right?
What?
There's a picture. Yeah, white pants. Yeah, it doesn't reflect. I can't see the whole outfit.
I'll
Yeah,
share it.
Daisha share screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably if you go.
This one.
No. I think yeah, that one.
Oh, it's a skirt.
Okay, so yeah, it's a skirt. So it blends with the background. So it's something that you want to take note in the future. I know it's very minor detail, but then people do take note of all of these little things.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So probably pair it with maybe a pattern if you have a white background, a pattern skirt or things like that. But obviously you would have to still relate it with Dior lah. Yeah, so that's it. That's for me.
Thank you, Miss Nadine. Okay, can we move on to Miss Anissa?
Okay, sorry. Hi, Daisha, right? Am I pronouncing your name right? Okay, so I'm Anissa. I just want to, very nice to meet you. Just I'm going to start off with your presentation. I think I love the white space. Personally, I'm very difficult at doing minimal presentations, so that was really, really nice to see. We could focus on everything that you were explaining better. You had that clean look, which I did like, and you had those like little small lines just to kind of add it. We call it like we call it noise on a page. So I love that. I did love your how you got into the idea of redefining fashion in the time of pandemic and took Dior as your client. That was very brave and bold of you. Firstly, because of styling, I'm sure you had to go through a lot to choose the bags, the blazer, the belt, and that was whatever you chose the items. It definitely reflected the Dior look. Which I loved, and also your portraiture, your poses as well, the way you looked in the camera. I mean, of course, that in the real world, that's sort of the stylist's job to make sure everything makes a connection throughout. So I love how you styled. To be honest, you right now in the camera and you right now in this photo is completely not completely different, but it's you in a different way. And I love that. That's the job of a stylist, to make you look super different on a photograph. So I think you executed that really well, gave that different energy, different vibe. As I think I loved your poses as well, how you really played around. Lots of them were actually referenced in Dior's photos before. You really did that really well. I just want to ask one thing. Of course, this is in reflection of Dior as a client, but I would like to know whether maybe it's not for today or in the future. I think a feedback we just want to know better. What would you, as an individual stylist, take on differently for Dior? So Dior is very into this look, but I would love to see more in your personal creativity and bringing what would you change on the Dior look in the future, whether it's more masculine, I know a bit more playful, but everything that you executed today was very much into the concept that you were trying to tell. Sorry, you were trying to tell. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. It was lovely.
Great. Thank you so much, Miss Anissa. Okay. Lastly, Mr. Greg.
Hi, thank you. Well, I can agree with Nadine, with Anisha as well. I think what could really enhancing to in terms of your presentation this year is that it would be great because I really like the way that you've been sort of portraying the attitude about the target audience and the personality that you're thinking how to empowering the females as well. Really love the title of "If You Adore Me, Dior Me." I think it would be great if you like probably want to share us more about, is this a campaign or is that like awareness or social awareness campaigns or any particular social medias, and from there providing a little bit more research in terms of the target audience. I think that would be actually making us more connected to know you more, because you probably did a lot of like research, but it would be greater if you're able to show it to us visually, how you're developing it, how are you able to expressing from the idea to the concept that you have been developed. And because we want to see how, as a fashion stylist as in your personal developments, how do you curating these informations and using it, making use of it, and making sense to the brand as well. I think from that way, I think it will be much able to enhance your presentations. I mean, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, good job, Disha. Any questions so far from you to the judges? Disha?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's move on to the next student. Can we have Miss Audrey?
Hi. So I'll share my screen now. Can you see my screen? Okay. So hi, my name is Audrey, and good afternoon to honorable guests, Mr. Greg, Miss Anissa, and Miss Nadine. And this is my final year of fashion styling, and I'll be presenting my final fashion styling project. So for overview of fashion styling, I've chosen a personal concept without a client. So fashion styling, we had a chance to have our own photo shoot and to try something new. So I figured that I would want to go something different from others. So I go for skincare products. Since it's a skincare product, I figured that I don't want to involve any model into my shoot, and I just want to focus on the product. And during this pandemic, it's quite hard actually because of the limited space at home and all the limited equipments. So, but we have managed to put it through. Moving on to my mood board. This is my mood board, and as you can see, there's a lot of green, and I want to keep it simple. So the brand that I'll be working on is The Ordinary, and the product I'll be using is the two famous product, which is the AHA BHA peeling solution and the acidic powder. So for my concept, however, since it's a pandemic, as I said before, the location will be at my home in my garden where there's a lot of green, and it's a skincare product. So I figure green matches with the skincare product because The Ordinary, their brand is quite simple and basic and mostly white. So I think they can match pretty well with anything. And for editing, I'll edit some white lines into the outcome. So it will make the product pop out more. So this is my final visual artifact outcome. And as you can see, I've added some white lines or drawings to make it pop out more. So it looks more fun. Yeah, that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. So can we move to Miss Nadine, please?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Audrey. How do you feel? Very nervous? Okay. So can we go back to the first slide and okay, so first of all, in terms of like the whole presentation, just particularly the slides and whatnot, I personally feel that I really like your concept. I really like your mood board, how it's very direct and clear, and you know what you want already. The vision is there, it's minimal. And yeah, sometimes, although it's minimal, sometimes it can be hard to execute because it is minimal. But my comment is for your presentation, your slides, I personally don't think you should have like too much words on it because we will most of the judges or me personally will be focusing on what you will say rather than reading whatever is on the slides. You get me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is one. Then can we go to the mood board? Yes, again, I really like how this is very straight up, simple, clear. And I also like how you know, like, okay, wait, before that, why do you want to choose Ordinary again?
Because it's quite simple and I like the whole concept of The Ordinary.
Okay. Do you personally use
Yeah.
The Ordinary? Okay. All right. So my question is, did you research about the ingredients before even doing the campaign?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and is it botanical?
Pardon?
Is it botanical? Are the ingredients derived from a botanical base?
No.
Yes, so that's the thing. So the usage of color also plays an important part, especially when we are using like minimal stuff. So especially skincare, if it's more chemical based, you have to make sure if it's you have to make sure if it's uh if the colors reflect the chemical. So let's just say in The Ordinary. I personally use The Ordinary, but I personally don't think it is like Origins where it is botanical based. So probably you might want to not change that, but use other colors that reflects The Ordinary. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also the white lines. Can I go to the white lines, please? Yes, I really like this white lines because it's very trendy. It is I see a lot of this trend, this white line thing, this sketch thing going on around. I like that. And it makes the campaign not so boring, you know? And may I know, like, if you were to publish this campaign up online, which social platform do you plan to use?
Instagram.
Yeah, I personally think Instagram, so maybe Facebook, not so much. But yeah, that's all for me. Thank you, Audrey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nadine. Ms. Anissa?
Hi, Audrey. Thank you so much for your presentation. I think my comments are quite similar to Nadine. I think when we look at in the industry, when we do look at presentations like this, of course we do want a lot of information as much as possible, but it's definitely better to compact it. So I saw, if you can go back to I think the one with the green. Okay, I think I see a lot of strong words in here, like I think there was, what did I write here? Sorry. Appearance, greens, flowers, natural elements. I think if you were to go for that kind of route, it's okay with those words just by itself on a piece of paper, like you did on the right, keywords. It's easier for us to kind of just understand what you kind of want to express through this page rather than a lot of words. So sometimes little words make bigger impact than more words. Okay. For your, I think on also Nadine mentioned this about how to kind of like talk about the products in product placement photos. For me, like, it's more than just placing the product on a background. I think if you were to go if you're planning to go through to the more product styling shoot kind of route, it's more exciting to see if you could play around with the texture, the consistency, and really try to get that out of a photo rather than the product itself. Because I think in the mass product pages out there, that photo, it doesn't really say anything super special about the product itself. Okay, but if it was just like an image for like the catalog shoot, then that would be really, really clear. So yeah, maybe to specify whether this is a social media photos or like a catalog photo and stuff like that. I think that would be nicer. So yeah, another point also is, can we go to your photos? I just want to ask, I have a question. Okay, this one. On your left, it is with sunlight, and on your right, it's quite darker. Did you have a thought process behind putting it in the sun or anything?
No, not really.
Okay. So, I mean, those are really good points as well. Just so we kind of know, there's always in styling product, especially, like, we like to look into the smaller details, like why is it playing with shadows? Is it playing with sun? Maybe you could experiment that further in the future. But yeah, I think I love the white lines. Same with Nadine. I thought that really brought out the products more, and that really made it more stand out. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anissa. Can we move on to Mr. Greg, please?
Thank you. I think I may be a little bit harsh here. I think there are two things that you will need to really know. I think the first one, I really think there's there's no strong message that come up from the work that you are doing. Although aesthetic wise, yes, I do agree with the line. It's sort of like helping the products to be standing out, but the product would be the main object. So if you look closely, even for these two photos, there's no clear focus on the ordinary. If I am a brand of ordinary, I was like, why it's not clear on my branding part? So that would be the first thing in terms of the quality of the productions, in terms of the images, in terms of the aestheticness. So that would be the probably to me is personally, if I am from ordinary at this moment, I would think please reshoot again. I really want to see that how my brand is being pops up over there. And then the second thing is about the message that I was just mentioning just now. As I think Anisha and Nadia has been trying to be highlighting about the brand itself as well as the concept itself. So you have your keywords, but how are you going to translate the keywords about the ordinary related with green, probably using a different way. So for example, even if it's a plain background, so the outline of it can be green color as well, as simple as that, or very flat, because now the focus is not in terms of the ordinary, but the lifestyle. So if that is your main objective, then I think at the beginning, you may wanted to tell us more about, according to your research, to evidencing about how this background is what the consumer wants. So I have some sort of a conflict about the artwork of it. And I know it's very tricky though. I mean, I sort of see the efforts into it to sort of bring out the products in a very different way. I obviously can see you're trying to do that. So but I think also with the research, maybe you can trying to find a much direct way, because you're trying to use the visuals to attracting the consumers, also to communicate to the consumer about the message that you want to. So that's where I have some sort of feeling like maybe the message is not strong, or maybe because of the work that you are trying to depict the brand is not that strong enough. And we all know that ordinary is not like being organic or anything, but they are very chemical, not saying chemical, but they are lab based. So, but what does the advantage? I think you would like to tell us what is the advantage about the ordinary, probably the value prices as well, and suitability about our skins as well. So, although I don't use skincare products, sorry, but I think in terms of the branding part, definitely you could enhance a little bit more better. If we go to the next slide, where I do agree that less is more sometimes. And I think this is even better because now I can see the lifestyle with your hands, and like, telling us like, I don't know, I got a feeling about this is nice, something that is related to the consumer from my point of view, rather than just placing it on a background there's no humans. So now I feel connected. Okay, so probably agree to Nadine as well. Less graphic, highlighting what is your message. I think that would be awesome for it. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, judges, and thank you, Audrey. So now we move on to the third student, Miss Sabrina.
Hi, everyone. So good afternoon to honorable judges, Mr. Greg, Mrs. Anissa, and Miss Nadine. So my name is Nur Sabrina Atika, and I'm currently in my last semester for Diploma in Fashion Styling. So before I present my final project, I'd like to mention that before this assignment, I had to carry out a research on Songket, create a photo shoot, what I consider as myself, and create a proposal deck about Malaysian nostalgia. And I just realized that each of the assignment that I did, they had something in common where I will always include my family. Since the first day of Miss Alia's class, I've always I felt like my work as a stylist is making my family as my muse. They are the ones who transform me into the woman I am today, and they also happen to influence my current style. So this actually links us to my final project, where it's not only going to be me, but I included my sister as well in the photo. So it would be like a sisterly photo shoot with jewelries. So today I'll be presenting my final project, which is the visual artifacts to you, and I name it as, sorry, her. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. So, okay. So why did I choose her as my title of the project? Well, it's actually because it's based on the collection's name. Then for the visuals, I included my sister and I, which we are both women, so the pronouns would be her. And not just that, the earrings were also named after women from all around the world. So to me, naming my final project as her relates to every pieces of it. Okay, so now moving on to what I will be presenting to you guys today. So here we have the overview of fashion styling project, where I will be explaining more about my concept, the visual artifact, which means the photos, and an introduction to the client of my choice. Okay, so starting off with the overview. So for this final project, I choose to work with a preferred client of my choice. It's called And Fine Things, and shoot an editorial for them. So it's about a younger sister who's very insecure about herself, who's very self-conscious, and believes that she has no one in this world. So her big sister, on the other hand, came in with some earrings. And she is like reassuring her, comforting her that she's not alone and to make her feel better. Surprisingly, it works. So after wearing it, the younger sister felt so much better because she knows she was not only supported by her sister, but also by an army of women at her back. So just a fun fact, this concept is actually not something that I created just for fun or for this assignment. It's actually something that I went through by myself. So this is quite meaningful to me. And it actually warms my heart that to see these earrings were named after women from all around the world. And what I mean by an army of women, it actually refers to my supportive mother, cousins who are practically a sister to me, my coolest aunts, and my amazing girlfriends. So they are definitely my backbones, I'm sorry. So that what's make this project more meaningful. So moving on to the following is my visual artifacts. So I say that each of the images here will tell you its own story, and I interpret them based on what I see. So for the first two photos here, it shows that the big sisters appears to be like reassuring and comforting the younger sister, who seems to be feeling very self-conscious, who seems like very insecure and thinking that she has nobody. So the big sister wants to let you know that she's not alone and will never be alone. So as for this photo, the younger sister is going through some like healing process, but she still feel like a bit hesitate and still need to rely on her sister. So you can definitely see how the younger sister places her hand on her big sister's shoulder, while her sister places her hand on top of hers. So as if like the big sister is telling her, it's okay, you can take baby steps, you're doing well. So this is also the part where the big sister gives some pair of earrings from And Fine Things latest collection called Her. Then this photo shows where the younger sister slowly coming out from her shell with the help from both of her big sister. And the earrings that she bought, which were named after women from all around the world. Here, the younger sister is like no longer hiding behind her big sister. Instead, she's standing in front of her because she was stepping out from her comfort zone. But her big sister is always like ready to catch her from behind, just in case if the younger sister ever starts to struggle again or returns to square one. To me, this photo, the big sister is like no longer standing behind the younger sister or feel like the need to reassure her, to comfort her, because the younger sister did it. She managed to gain her confidence and no longer feeling self-conscious about herself. So now the younger sister could confidently standing beside her big sister. For the last two photos, yeah, the younger sister looks way happier. with her current life after going through something that nobody should ever go through. And it's all because of her big sister who's willing to do anything for her, including buying those earrings. So this makes the younger sister start to realize that, oh, other than her big sister and the woman that had her back, she also starting to consider that, well, this earring is actually like a shield. So wherever she goes or what kind of occasion she would attend, she would feel like as she was being protected from those who would bring her down. And now those earrings are currently her go-to earrings, and she basically can't live without them. Then here we have the client that I've chosen. So And Fine Things is a local jewelry label that ships internationally and known for creating this classic jewelry with a modern twist. It's jewelry, actually, the jewelry, it suits for any occasion, which is very convenient for the customers. And even though this brand has like a few collections, her collection stood out the most because this brand has a vision where this collection would able to help all the women out there, particularly for those who's going through like low self-esteem, to regain their confidence back through this collection. About this brand, it's actually my sister who found about it, and she decided to show it to me. And the jewelry, especially the earrings, because I'm a big fan of jewelry, so I instantly fell in love with it. So I love how this brand creates jewelry that's very minimalist, but yet at the same time it stood out because of the color choices, and nothing could go wrong with those colors. But what I actually can relate to this brand is that And Fine Thing was founded by two sisters in 2019. So it actually brings back the memories where I would always have this dream of creating or setting up my own brand with my sister. But as we grew up, we both got busier and the thought of it just gone. So it's kind of sad though. But I kept seeing some brands that were founded by the sisters or setting up by the siblings. So I feel like it's a sign to me to open my brand. I don't know, who knows. So, but yeah, that's all for me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sabrina. Miss Nadine?
Hello, hi Sabrina.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, I love how you define a bit of your background before you start the project so that we can all get a bit of gist of what we are all expecting later. And I like how your project really, like, even so by doing this project, it impacts your family and actually creates, a bond or things like that. I really like that. I'm like a sucker for like stories. It really itself. I also really like your campaign name, Straightforward Her. We all know it's a woman thing. The more simpler, the better. That is really good. And then I also like your idea of each and every jewelry is sort of like dedicated to every woman out there. So for me, what your project is not just another jewelry brand. It's a jewelry brand that has meaning, that which is really, really, really good, because you see a lot of that. You would find like a lot of competitions if you have a brand, and this is how you stand out. And I really like how you play with just minimal things and make it into a personal story. I feel that your story and experience is very powerful, and if I was a customer, I would definitely buy it, because I grew up with 6 sisters, so you can imagine that. I also, and then moving on to the images of the campaign, I really like how all of these pictures are not editorial or like studio based. I like how it is black and white, so there's like a bit of emotions there. I also like this webcam edit, sort of like a webcam edit, not like non-quality edit. So it's very raw, it's very emotional. That's my opinion, which I feel that it humanizes the whole thing even more, and not just like a studio background, that kind of thing. I personally want to see more close-ups because with campaign, I also, because you're trying to sell the jewelry, right? So I also want to see like, what are you trying to sell here? I know that this the site small circle thing, but maybe like a campaign shoot where you do this, things like that, where it's more closed up to the jewelry. And also, if possible, during campaigns, and if you want to have like a minimal look for campaigns, try to avoid t-shirt that has graphics. Yeah. And then, yeah, that's my comment. It's very good. I like it.
Thank you.
I really do. Probably in terms of like presentation, purple might not fit that much. You might want you might want to fit in more in terms of like the colors and whatnot, but I think you understand what I mean. Just a question: does the company and Fine Things sells rings or no, or just earrings?
They have necklace as
What
well.
about rings?
Rings? No.
Okay, so you might if you are based, I'm just saying, if you are based, if you are just based off that client, you might want to see what product they sell and focus more on that.
Yeah.
You get what I mean, right? Like for example, this picture, I can see a lot of earrings. There's like a lot of things, jewelries going on. So I don't know what is the focus there. So yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Anissa.
Hi. Okay. So yes, I also really enjoyed your introduction on you kind of telling your own story and how you reflected and how you connected, and really made this more of a personal and meaningful collection. I think to be on your final semester, and if you were to think really deeply of what you wanted to show, I thought that was a very impactful campaign. Um, I think I'd like to just kind of talk on the photos. I have a question. Is there a reason why you wanted to be a bit more? To me, my first look was it's a bit intimidating instead of like a bondly, warm um, image of two sisters. Did you want to take that struggling emotion out? Was that why you've chosen a very strong photo?
At first I thought I never thought about it would be like this strong because I thought it would be just like, oh, okay, it's like a normal campaign shoot, just like that. I never thought as in like the poses would be like strong or like very emotional. So
Right. I think in the future, if you ever go to the industry, that's one thing how the stylist would have to like plan out, like with the image you're going to try to create is it's about a bond of two sisters. So this shows definitely the bond when she put her dagu on her head, but it could both models can look at each other more. I know you're not into fashion photography, but it's something that you would have to direct in the future as well. Like the connection between those two sisters could be seen more on how they connect to each other through their eyes. Like the hand in itself is really great. It shows, but it's like at the corner, right? Although they don't sell rings, but it could be also, she's just holding her ear. You know how my sister, she likes to hold my head like that, and then you can showcase the ring there. Sorry, not the ring, the earrings there as well, right? So there's just different ways to think about doing things. But yeah, again, I love the black and white. It did bring out the emotion and the in depth of photos. But I would just want to comment on the product photo in the circle. I think probably it could have been or not on an ear, and we can see the product more because, like, okay, I'm going to be the customer. I'm going to look at this photo. I feel it. I love it. I love the story. Um, and I just kind of want to know what she's wearing. So it'll be cleaner look if it's just the earring on a plate or something like that on a plain background for the product focus photo.
got it.
But yeah, overall, definitely, I think jewelry is very hard to sell, and it's always important to have a very meaningful story behind it. And I thought you really executed that in your campaign very, very well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Anissa. Okay, Mr. Greg.
Hi, I'm not quite sure my background noise will be affected. Can anyone hear anything?
No, so far so good.
All right. So thank you. Basically, I think it is a really strong in terms of the idea of what you would like to achieve. So I just gonna be really just being quick. I think there are two things that you can further improve. Okay, just gonna be straightforward. Okay, number one is the execution part when you are taking the photos. You would probably need to do some research or trying to be inspired of how to take the photos because I can see definitely the idea of it is really good because emotionally I'm connected. But what about visually? Does it actually tell the story without the explanations? That's number one, the visual impact of it. So the execution part, I think you can learn from a lot of a good photographer. You may not need to achieve to that standard, but probably like from like Nadine say, probably some close up, some sort of a shot that doesn't even need to see your face, but probably just the hands of it. So it will tell the story. So I think the execution part, you probably can be do a little bit more research to improve on that. And secondly is your presentations. Probably you have been rehearsing yourself. But I think in terms of the presentation, in terms of the slide and the way you like to tell the story about that, because I do not know if it's for the brand itself. Would that be for Instagram or for their booklets or for their website? So with that, if you share to me in the beginning, so I probably would know a little bit know how to giving you the proper feedback. But if I'm looking at the way that you set up at this moment, so I think the layout of your presentation slide can be improved. So probably like looking at these images right now, probably I would put aside your photograph into a far left corner and probably just a sentence in a calligraphy. You know, with a different layout, you plan on that to using that visual impact to sort of connecting even more. Probably just a sentence. Like for example, like you told me to stand out, like dot dot dot. So I think with that already can tell the story behind it, emotionally engaging it. So and I really love how a brand, a jewelry brand can transform into this emotional, and that is really fantastic in terms of making it into a lifestyle brand. So that one is really fantastic. So there's only two things that you will need to probably improve: the execution and presentations. And keep practicing it. You will find your own identity, your own way of doing it, and that will be even better. Okay, so that is for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges, and thank you, Sabrina. Now we're down to two students. Miss Ashley, are you ready?
Yeah,
Okay.
wait, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon to honorable judges, Mr. Greg, Miss Anissa, and Miss Nadine. I'm Ashley. So today I will be presenting my final fashion styling project. So overview of fashion styling project. In this project, I've opted for a personal concept without a client. So my styling project is to create beauty skincare line, and the first impression of my created product should be clean, fresh, and minimal, yet with a pop of vivid colors. So this is my mood board. As you can see, I use water element, liquid texture, and natural ingredients such as lemons and oranges. So this is my visual artifact. As you can see, I use water element on the background and liquid texture on the background and lemons, because lemons is the product's essential ingredient. So concept,
For my concept, because I'm more towards to press some summary vibe, water is used as an important element to create a fresh look. Same goes to with the fruits, because the fruits is the essential ingredient for the product. And personally, I prefer visual identity and art direction. So as you can see, the entire concept was approached digitally, such as using Photoshop and Illustrator. For this assignment, I've added additional visual artifact. As you can see just now, I've included the packaging of the product as well. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Okay, so can we move to Miss Anissa first, maybe this time?
Sure. Yes. Okay. So actually, my question is, meaning you digitally created those images using the water, the lemon, and then you composed it on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Actually, overall, your presentation was sweet and short. I loved that the special color was there, and you really try to use the waves to come out. Could we go to the product page where you place it on products?
This one?
No, I think it was the last one. I think you skipped through that really fast. The one before.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. No worries. Okay, so so I guess you're more onto the product packaging and how it looks. Before that was the social media and catalog photos. Am I correct?
Pardon?
Okay, on this, sorry.
No. Sorry.
Okay, just point. I loved how you did really focus on the brand, La Brand. It was in packaging. It's very important that it's really clear, very bold, and it's I love packaging that I can see from afar. I already know what brand it is. So you did that really nicely, and I love the small details. And can you go one before? One more. Sorry.
This one?
Okay, this one. Yeah. Yeah, I loved how you thought about using the texture within the image and also the ingredient. I feel like on the left, I don't know if a lot of lemons would be needed to really show that it's made of lemons, but um, visually it's nice. It's clean. It's with your concept, and I feel like I wish there was a bit more on what the woman will be about more, because I think you're selling this to women, right? So more of those, like emotionally connect to the customer rather than it's just ingredients and digital composed paste. Like, yeah, it's less human for me. But if it was supposed to be for a social media page, just saying the ingredients, then it would be okay. But if it was to be a full shoot on um, selling the product to a woman, I think that story doesn't really come out so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Anissa. Miss Nadine.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, can we go to the first slide, please?
This one?
Yeah. I like how you mentioned like to us before we start that your product's first impression should be fresh, clean, and minimal, with also a bit of splash vivid color. And moving on to the pictures of the products. Next one. This one and the other one. Yes, again with Anissa, I like how the product is like, bam, it's there. I know it's La Brand. It doesn't have to, say a lot. It's very different, which the packaging itself stands out. But I feel that same goes to Anissa's same goes to Anissa, but I have my comments are similar to Anissa, is that I don't think I connected emotionally. And before that, may I know what is your target audience? Like, what is the range of audience are you
Um,
trying to sell to?
for all genders and all ages, and
Uh,
it's all skin type. And more focusing on oily and combination skin because the essential ingredient is lemon.
right. Okay. So when creating a brand, doesn't matter if it's a fashion or like a skincare, I think you should take note of what are your target audience, especially the age, so that you can connect to them more. If you look at the women with the bottle there, let me go back. Yes, I know how your aim is to be fresh, minimal, and whatnot. But what I feel that this is a bit too simple. I would like more of, since you mentioned like daily routine, me time, I would like to see more of that so you can humanize more. It doesn't matter if it's like if you see Audrey first, there's the hand composure thing. It can be more humanized, things like that. And for the packaging, if we look at the packaging, um, if your brand is about like fresh and whatnot, so I feel that yes, the elements are there, but I don't see also the point of giving out stickers. Maybe you could give like more educational contents, maybe like how to use or things like that. That's my opinion. I don't see the functionality of the sticker with um, the when buying that. Yeah, that's my comment last. I also feel that your slides, even though it's short and sweet, it is a bit too fast. So you might want to slow it down. And yeah, that's my comment, if it makes sense. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nadine. And then lastly, Mr. Greg.
Agree to Nadine and Anisha as well. Um, this is very so I need to put two things aside. I think in terms of the trying to use a full CG to create a campaign, I think that's definitely I can see that as a challenge, the effort as well. But I need to be realistic about a few things first. Number one, we are talking about facial care products, right? And there's only one product being featured, which is the toner. So why just the toner? Please do explain it. Yes.
Because the toner is the brand new launch product, so I just focusing on the toner.
That would be great if you could highlighting this is the this is the product that we are trying to highlight along the range. So I think at the beginning you may want to also share us about the brand that you have in mind, and this is a new product. So then we'll focus more about that. So the toner is to refreshing. If you go to a previous page, I think the ideations through the conceptualizations are lack of research support. Okay, and let's for example, this is the brand, the product, and this is what is the message? There's no message. It's just the aesthetic wise that is very nice, clean. I can see that because facial product is not fashion product, and there must be some sort of a message or even a word 100% citrus, like fully refreshing yourself, maybe a short words of it, just for example. And yes, Ashley.
Sorry. This product is for audience who like skincare, and this is a message for them to use as part of their daily routine and feel like self-love. Yeah.
Maybe there is a tagline behind that. Love yourself every day. As simple as that. Because that is what La Brand stands for, then maybe you can, because I don't get the message. And then there's two part here. Sorry, I need to be very specific. pick. The left one that I'm seeing with the humans, that one is good, but no message. And I also like the other way. The other one on the right hand side is actually two very different sort of directions of it. So let's imagine if your whole campaign is focusing in the lemons in a square shape into your bottle shape. Can you understand that? And I think it would be even stronger than with the people with a particular model. In that sense, I think that create my attention. It's like, okay, I totally get it. This whole bottle is a citrus and it's a toner, probably in that sense. So that is what I would think. So the two things that you need to look into, I think the first thing is in terms when you are trying to create your own brand or a mock-up brand in that sense, probably you want to share us more about the whole idea of it, and then to share us more about the campaigns. So then we will understand better. And number two, in terms of the execution part, I can see that you are challenging the using the computer graphics, definitely. But why not make use of that fully into that sense of very CG? You know, consumer may like it, but obviously you will need to have research to support on that. So I think that will be more fun because I can see there are fun elements and more younger sort of a vibes in that. So I think you can really focus on that. So that is what I have at this moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greg. Okay, last student before we end our showcase. Miss Carrie.
Hi. So good afternoon to Mr. Greg, Ms. Nadine, and Ms. Anissa. So my name is Carissa Stanley Francisco, but I go by Carrie. It is my final semester in fashion styling, in the Diploma of Fashion Styling. Yes, so now I will share my screen. Okay, can you see? Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, before I start on the main topic, I just want to touch a little bit on the introduction towards like this project. So for this final project, I was basically tasked to reflect on my previous work and then create like a potential direction for my future in the fashion industry. So I think that this allowed like students like myself to really make like a cross reference of like the past and present work, and then like develop like a part of who we are as a stylist and like what we so like styling and image making go like hand in hand and are both like very crucial. So being able to like create editorials really guided me in amplifying my perspective and like allowed me to experience like a lot of processes in order to decide like who I am, my persona as like a stylist. So I think this project really challenged me in my creative vision to like step out of the box and like out of my comfort zone and come down to like when I'm focusing on like a specific theme and like what that interpretation should be. And I think this really guided me in like my content creation, which helped me in my project. So yeah, so this is the things that I would touch on. Basically, first my introduction to the client, and then my overall concept, and then my visual artifacts. So the client that I chose to do is actually a London-based brand called Naked Wolf. So they were established in 2017. They're basically a brand that offers luxury footwear, accessories, swimwear, and they're a gender-neutral company. So it is a family-run business owned by three siblings, Bronte, Cody, and Cooper Mans. So in order to create this brand, they actually want to focus on a lot of fashion-forward styles and creating like a presence in the digital fashion world. So even though they're all in their early 20s, they have like a very heavy, unique element of history in their blood. So ever since they were little kids, they actually helped their father out in their store in Melbourne, Australia. And soon after, they decided to basically establish their own wholesale footwear. So they actually went to China and meet up with their older brother, Luke, and then were really frustrated on the footwear in the market that nothing was what they wanted. Either the quality wasn't right, or the price wasn't right, or the overall look company basically Bronte and Cooper takes care of the creative direction, and then Cody takes care of everything else like the marketing and stuff. And they set up their first store in Selfridges, London. So the brand is a combination of streetwear and luxury, and they're always thinking about what is the next big thing that they want to do to stand out. The brand is actually created and designed for like young, fashionable individuals with very high quality fabric. So they want to basically create this brand to be able to have consumers like have their personality envisioned into like their products, and so they decided to make their own. So focusing on their name, what Naked Wolf means to them. So the wolf animal actually means a lot to these three siblings, because wolves are like, they tend to stay in packs, and for these siblings, they've been doing that their whole life, staying together ever since they were little. So that's what the animal they use as their mostly like spirit guide for the brand. And then the word naked in Naked Wolf is a representation of youth, and basically that we're all young and we come from innocence. Okay, so this is my mood board. So it's a lot of digital images and cities, and a lot of like streetwear, and then there's a touch of like pop of color and luxury. So basically for my visual concept, I'm going to focus on one specific product, which is the Jupiter black leather boots. So the unique thing is the feature of the metal wolf head plaque on the back of the shoe. So my idea is basically multiple visual stories in like a photo, and where I focus on like conceptualism and image, where they come hand in hand. So a lot of my visuals are like basically very focused on digital imaging, and it is a combination of the brand and then plus myself as a stylist. So rationale of why I chose the brand. So three major things why I chose to do Naked Wolf is because they're relative and their representation and their direction. So in terms of how they're relative to me, I think because the brand is very unorthodox and bold, I think that's who I want to be or am as a stylist. The brand is also very fearless and edgy, and it's a family-run business, which is also very important to me when it comes to family. So I also feel that I can relate to basically their target consumer, because I am like personally a major fan of the brand. So I'm quite comfortable like creating a editorial for the brand. So they also focus a lot on 90s fashion, and offer like a trendy take to millennial, which is like essentially who I am. Like I'm a 90s kid, and now I'm also a millennial. So next is the representation. Naked Wolf is basically like an all-inclusive and diverse brand, and then they cater to anyone who do not identify as either. Also, I want to be able to be more open-minded and move with the times. And I think right now, especially in fashion, it's very, very important to include like diversity and inclusivity. And a lot of people have not opened their hearts yet to how fashion can be seen, because everyone has different perspectives. So I personally, as a stylist, I want to stand for the same things that Naked Wolf has built their brand to represent. The last part is the direction. So the styling and direction of Naked Wolf speaks volumes to me, because it is basically what I want my work to be in the future and like currently. So I want to be able to create like a space and environment for like a lot of individuals who are still like afraid to stand out or like become who they want to be. And also the brand focuses a lot on like conceptualism and unconventionalism. So I think that really relates to a lot of my work, even in my previous assignments and right now. So being able to basically do a product shoot for this brand gave me a better idea of like the reality of what I need to do in order to build my brand in the future. This is my visual artifacts. So basically, I'm not someone who is very minimal. My work is very eclectic. So the colors that I use are mostly like more like grainy filters to depict like the 90s era. Yeah, so a lot of it is digital images. Yeah, mostly it's just digital images. Yeah, so basically it's like a campaign shoot for the specific shoe of the brand. But yeah, that's all from me.
Thank you, Carrie. Can we start with Mr. Greg this time?
Yep, sure. Thank you. How should I say it? It's interesting to see that you have chosen. I would rather call it as a cult brand. Okay. I'm not saying as a cult, as in more like a tribal wear. It doesn't belong to. It is more like a trickle cross. You're there or you're not. So it's really very specific. So I would really like to see more who are your target audience, and what are their lifestyle, and how to depict that, because your mood board is actually, this is a New York City, and probably the brand is actually from UK. So how
basically this is just like a general view of cities, like because in their creative direction they like to put like different cities in background, and then they mock up like digital images in front of it.
Right. Would love to see how the brand would normally do, and how, because you were mentioning about the rationale as well just now, maybe that way we can see how you actually either go into the same directions, but how do you ingeniously twisting it, so you are not able to evidence that. So in terms of presentation, probably you want to sell us that about the idea from, because the brand is very specific. We all know this brand has a very specific sort of a target audience, as well as the lifestyles. And so the city life, I mean, this kind of brand is not so much of city life like urbans, but they're probably more indie or underground. So how you can actually transform that. I'm not saying the artwork first. I think the research that to evidencing how you developed it, that is the first thing I would love to see more. And when it comes to your execution part, which I can see the images, but again, because in the previous presentation, I don't see who are the target audience. And is it Malaysians or is that international? So if it's
international.
If it's international, let's move on.
Next.
Let's go to your next page.
Okay.
Thank you. Next. I mean your production, your visual artifacts. So the whole thing, what I can't relate is the how cohesively, how consistently is the whole thing. The message again. I see the work. I see you trying to explore with the different techniques, and fantastic on that. But the message is not very light to me. And this kind of brand are very bold. Like you either get it or you don't get it. So there's no sort of telling me am I the target audience. Like you probably need something stronger than that. And I did a quick research just now, and also Naked Wolf is also going to be more sustainability. So although we don't need to mention that, but if we just move along with the understanding of this, the target audience wise and the message wise, I think is considered as a little bit weak. So you might need to look into that. Although I can see the images itself is quite aesthetic wise, it's very appealing. I have to agree on that. So maybe I'm not your target audience if I don't get it.
I mean, like I put myself as like a target audience because like the boots in the picture, like I own them, like it's my boots. Yeah, so I'm basically like the target audience of this.
What would be the main in terms of emotionally or feeling of owning a pair of Naked Wolf?
I think it would just be like an exclusive feeling, because I mean the boots are not very cheap. They're about like 2,000. Yeah, so it's a very like luxurious feeling that like when someone sees you with like this item, it's like you either have it or you don't, and like not everyone has access to like their items.
So how are we able to sort of, because when we are doing this, there are two main objectives for me if we are going to do a campaign shoot like this. Either we want to attract a new customer, or either we want to strengthen our current community. So if you can put something that is to strengthen in terms of the price of owning a pair of Naked Wolf, I think that would be fantastic. Like an attitude wise, I'm sure you know where I'm heading to already. So the attitude is something that is missing there. It's not necessarily the message as in the wording itself. The message can be the attitude. So that is what I felt like is missing the identity in that case. So yeah, I mean, wow, I haven't seen anyone wearing this pair, so I would really love to see you wearing it. Thank you, that's for me.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Mr. Greg. Can we have Miss Nadine, please?
Hello. Hi, Krisa.
Hi.
Okay, so can we go back to the first slide, around the second slide? Okay, so I like how you get a grip, you got the grip of the brand, you know what you want to do. And your mood board, if you can go to the mood board page, please. It's very yes, it's we can tell it's very edgy. The brand is very edgy. It has a certain target audience. But even if within your mood board, this is my opinion, but even within your mood board, there are several styles, meaning not only one specific style can wear Naked Wolf. Am I right? So probably in relation to your project, my comment is, I know you're trying to sell the boots, but I don't understand, like, what are you trying to sell? Like, are you trying to sell the lifestyle, or are you trying, like, because like Greg said, the message is not that clear. So I don't see, like, what are you trying to sell? I don't really get it. So probably within that, you can try tapping maybe how the boots can cater to different styles. Like, for example, can Alexa Chung wear the boots? Can this person, can Kylie Jenner wear the boots? So you can cater to a variety of audience within the target age. You know, if you get what I mean? Hello.
Would love to see Alexandra Chang wearing it.
Yeah. So that's that. And then I like on your posters, if you can go to your posters there. Yeah, I like how different techniques are used and whatnot. Just specifically for this picture, probably you can do like a collage form, the one that you are like half squatting so that it doesn't blend with the shoe. That part. Yeah, so that is my problem. Not a problem, but that is my argument here. Like, what are you trying to sell? Are you trying, yes, I know you're trying to sell the boots, but could you tap to a different, within the category, could you tap to a different sort of styling so that you can have a wider range of audience? So it does not look like, only a specific audience can wear Naked Wolf. So that's the thing that an idea that I have lah. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. Anissa?
Hey, hi.
Hi.
Really nice presentation. I love that you really research in depth of the brand and telling your personal take on it as well. I got, this is my first time hearing the brand, and I feel like I know the brand. So you explained it really, really well. Okay, for me, I feel like you mentioned that I'm just gonna kind of talk about the things that I really enjoyed first. You mentioned this is for something trendy and today's time. So in your poses and the way you composed it, first you use sort of TikTok poses, meaning it is in trend currently, which is correct. And then the next one, I loved how you use that pattern jagged thingy, which shows the movement on pages. That was really smart of you to think about. I love seeing some sort of movement on a still photo. And then but second is going back to, you mentioned this brand talks about diversity and inclusivity, and something that you want to see more. When you said that, I immediately thought, okay, how she's going to execute this with a brand like this. And that's why I felt like the whole concept or campaign, the concept campaign, was actually not so inclusive to a lot of women. Like I felt like it was on a specific lifestyle. And if you were selling the lifestyle, even so, maybe it's more talking about freedom and individuality. Like, okay, you're a girl, you're a, let's say, for example, you're a super feminine girl, but how would she explore this bold and individualistic self of hers, you know? And I feel like you really could explore more into that. And another thing, I do see this is more like a poster kind of thing that I don't know if you've been to Shoreditch in London, but it's like I would see this. I can imagine this naked wolf, all these wolf posters around town, so that brings that image. But for me as a customer, like I would need something that can relate to me some way, somewhat, and not just the shoes. Like at the end, if you could sell me what Naked Wolf stands for, which is like innocence, youth, I already want something from the brand. And it would be these really cool boots because I guess this is what they're famous for. And the last thing is I want to point out, of course, when you work with a lot of brands in the future, you will come across brands that you might not even like. Like, of course, it'd be interesting to work with, but sometimes how you express how much you love about the brand wouldn't really align with how much people would like it as much as you. And your task here, because you love it so much, how would you convince an array of different kind of personalities to love the brand as much as you do? So sometimes it's not looking through your eye of lens. It's something for you to explore, to look at different type of lens on how you view this Naked Wolf brand. Because in the end, any campaign or any social media thing is something to sell the brand and for people to come more within the community. So yeah, something just for you to kind of explore further.
Okay.
Thank you.
Amazing. And I think that that's the end of our session. Thank you again to our honorable judges for spending their time with us, Ms. Nadine, Ms. Anissa, as well as Mr. Greg. Mr. Greg has something to say.
I just want to say thank you, Nadine and Anisha as well, to join us. I just want to conclude in the general about the batch of the students' presentations. I just want to say that I can really see that you have a lot of techniques that you have been able to do it, all very differently, very diverse and very general. So well done to the students. I think in terms along the way, what we are trying to share today is in terms of giving you more information about how do you improve yourself. Okay, really, because we are trying to share with from our industry backgrounds or our experience as well. So how would a brand would really want us to see you? So in future, then you can improve yourself. It will take some time, but please take it very positively. It is actually for your improvements. Okay, looking into the directions of what would be the industry would be expecting, right? So what I don't know about Anisha and
yeah, I'd like to add.
Yeah.
On that note, okay, so actually, I don't want anyone here to think that you need to speak really, really well to present your work. It sometimes doesn't need a lot of words to explain visual. You are, in the end, a fashion stylist, someone to create all these mood boards and images and make it whatever the end product is. And you can do that without a lot of words. So if you think you're not confident enough to talk, it will come with a lot of practice, of course, but I want you to know that you can explore, like just one example. I feel like everyone sped through their mood board so fast. And actually mood boards is so easy for you to explain. Okay, I'm using the color blue. Okay, I'm using this. Like keep repeating that a lot of times, and that's enough for us to tell us what your vision is. You don't need to really. It's really good if you're at that stage that you can express really easily, but if you're not, that is already amazing. That's a first step for you to take. So please don't feel discouraged if you can't present or talk really well. It's not what it is. And sometimes I work with stylists that they don't have a lot to say. They just give me the image and I totally just get it. I don't ask them a lot of questions because I get it on that paper and on that visual mood board. So yeah, that's my comment. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed every single one's presentation. Everyone had this individual approach, which was really, really nice. I look forward to future works of you guys.
Miss Nadine?
Just letting you know that all of you have done a great job. Yes, like Anissa said, sometimes you don't need to speak so much. Try to be specific as possible. Be clear, direct, and concise. Like get to the point, like what you want to do, and also try not to be so fast paced. It's also good for you to actually brief prior starting so that everybody can like relax, and not jump to conclusions or anything. And yeah, can't wait to see what you guys have in store. And thank you, Alia, for considering me.
Sorry, one more. Another comment. Just because I thought about it. Everyone sped through the images actually at the end of what they're trying to present. They just said, okay, this is it. This is it. I hope next time you can like, okay, this is what I created. And even if you don't have anything to talk about it, talk about like your thought process through every image. Even though it's just a lemon on a water, just mention, I thought about the toner texture and the lemon, and I thought it would work. Something like that.
Yeah. Yep, totally agree. Sometimes we want to know like more of the thought process rather than like, yes, final image is what we want to see, but it's more of like what has, the BTS kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think to just before we end the session, I think as your educator as well, I know each of your strengths and weaknesses, but moving forward from today, you will encounter different clients with different preferences. But and again, we were all one students before, even Greg, Miss Nadine, Miss Anissa. So we all have been in place, and it's just the difference, pandemic students. But don't feel discouraged that you are stuck at home. And I think that again, brilliant ideas sometimes come in your own space. So I think my hopes and wishes for all of you is to be more confident with what you're creating. No idea is a bad idea. It's just really your perception and your mindset towards Thank you again,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye.